Hi, I'm Ciamrron at Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We've got a really cool one to show you today. This is a brand new 2025 Cimarron 5-horse living quarters with Outlaw conversion. This is an air ride triple axle integrated pod. This trailer is hard loaded. It's not missing much. Let's just say that. We're going to walk you through and show you all the cool features and just options we put on this trailer here. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the drawing. That way I can kind of show you how the actual trailer lays out. So on the floor, this guy is 41 foot with the nose that Ciamrron has being 8'2". So you're going to be looking at 49 2 inches nose to tail on this guy. This trailer is 8 foot wide. This one is also 8'1" tall, and where that gets important is with the integrated pods, it drops the ceiling height. We're going to get a 7'6" stall area. I'll show you that when we get in there and why we went 8'1" on this trailer for multiple reasons. Then from there on the living quarters side, on the Outlaw part of it, this one here is a 17.5 foot short wall. This has got a big slide out. This is 120 inches, so a 10-foot slide out on this guy. We're really excited to show you this trailer and walk you through all the features on this guy. Let's first talk about Ciamrron all aluminum construction. Then you flip over to the Outlaw side, custom hardwood engineering. As far as their cabinetry goes, I mean, you can't beat this trailer out there on the market. If you look at warranty on this guy, it's an 8-year structure warranty, 3-year hardware warranty from Ciamrron. Then when you flip over to the Outlaw side of it, you're gonna have a 5-year craftsmanship warranty, but then you're also gonna get 3 years warranty from them as well. So, for example, your refrigerator, the own-end generator on this guy, if it, for some reason, any of those components have a 1-year manufacturer warranty, Outlaw will stand behind them for 3 years. This is the only trailer manufacturer and conversion company on the market that you can combine that 3-year coverage on the trailer itself. So let's walk you through this guy. First and foremost, again, this one's 8'1" tall, so you get this bigger, nose, but that means we're gonna have a lot more head space when we actually get in the living quarters there. You're gonna have a couple of marker lights on the top. This stainless sheet on the front really dresses this trailer up. B&W coupler, really have a lot of flexibility with this guy to adjust. If you're pulling with a hauler, a semi, something along those lines, this coupler really allows us the flexibility to really get this guy set where we need it to make sure it's running level. And also bed clearance if you're running with an actual bed on those guys. It's a lower profile handle that gets us that additional lower hole drilled into it. Really, again, gives us a lot of flexibility. They've really improved that over the last couple of years. B&W has been awesome to work with as far as that's concerned. It's rated for 25,000 pounds. We will get an official empty weight on this trailer. It just showed up, so we wanted to video it. We'll get that information put up online here shortly. Okay, underneath the gooseneck, a couple things we got going on. Just the sheer size of the trailer, also with the slide out. Anytime you have a slide out on the Ciamrron, we do dual jacks. Just gives us a lot more stability. And then again, this is a bigger trailer, so this one here definitely has the dual jacks. It also has a manual override on these jacks in case in emergency situations you could pump this on or off the truck itself. Spare tire. Then from there, 30-pound bottles. We don't like messing with 20-pound bottles if we at all possible, just because we understand you're going to be using a lot of propane. Why be swapping those guys out a little bit more frequently? Go with the 30-pound, a lot more capacity there. Over here to the right of these battery boxes is actually going to be our onboard compressor for that air ride system. We are going to talk more about that, but this guy here is really simple to use. It's on off, it's lower raise. We've done some how-to videos, how to operate it, how to shut it down properly, really condensed versions. We can send you those if you want to see operation on that, but we will talk more about that air ride. The jacks themselves are on individual switches, which is fantastic because you can actually, it gives you again more flexibility to level this trailer out. I love it when you back underneath with a truck. If you're off just a hair, you can actually tip a trailer or kind of walk it over and get it set on the ball by having the duals. 4 batteries underneath this guy. 3 house batteries, they're all labeled, and then an air ride battery, so specifically for the air ride itself. Everything's labeled under there. You know where wires are going. Outlaw does such a fantastic job on really making it easy. You know, if it gets just to a service center out there that maybe all they work on is campers and RVs, motorhomes, they don't necessarily work on living quarters, but Outlaw can walk them through. Hey, go look for this wire. This will be labeled underneath there. It really just helps the whole process of knowing where everything goes. This additional battery box over here is actually going to house our hydraulics for our hydraulic slide out. So this is the pump for that. So that's all contained in that box there. And then the last piece is there's going to be a pump over there to the left of that. This guy is equipped with electric over hydraulic disc brakes. So there's our pump for the brake system itself right there. Now, a couple things. It's a little misty and rainy here, but overcast. But as you can see on this top rail, boy, do we get a good look at these marker lights today. One of our guys even commented before we started the video, man, the lights look good on this guy today. And they do. So these guys, this one here, again, we're 49 foot nose to tail. These lights here are roughly just over 3 foot apart by the number we put on them. So this guy really looks good at night when you're going down the road. As you can see, we put a lot of lights on the exterior. We did a couple 8-inch awning lights out here underneath the awning. The awning actually has an LED strip light as well. That is an electric awning, so it'll slide out. You just push a button. That is a massive awning on the side of this guy. You have courtesy lights down below. So again, when you're just outside entertaining, you've got a lot of light coverage out here. We'll talk more about the load lights when we get back to the other side of the trailer, the horse compartment. But out here, you have your exterior speakers. You're also going to have an outlet out here. So, you know, if you're just sitting out here, you need to plug something in, you've got that capability right here. Before we walk into the LQ door, you're going to notice this guy right here. This is our freshwater fill for the tank. It's actually going to be underneath the sofa here in a minute. I'll show you. But we'll head into this guy. You have your fold-up step, so it's really easy getting in and out of this guy. And then as we come in, you know, you're going to get a real good view of this. Again, a 17.5 foot Outlaw. So this is a absolutely beautiful layout, beautiful LQ that they did. As you can see, you probably noticed just the big slide to begin with. But up here at the front, we'll kind of start right here. So we have kind of an entertainment center. So we've got a smart TV, a Samsung smart TV. This trailer is equipped with Starlink. So you can go in and get that set up. You can basically, you know, everything's gone to streaming. I mean, we have Starlink at our house, you know, knock on wood. I mean, it's been fantastic. We absolutely love it. Smart TVs, you got your apps. Kids can stream whatever they want. You can stream whatever you want. If you need to work off this trailer, you've got it with this Starlink. It's just a fantastic setup. Ton of storage. So, you know, you've got storage underneath the TV itself. We have a fireplace that's going to run off of electric, so we have to be plugged in to run that guy there. But that is a great secondary heat source. Obviously, we have our furnaces, but this guy right here does put out a good amount of heat, good ambiance as well. Behind this TV itself is going to be storage as well. So you have all this that you can utilize. There's going to be a lot of little nooks and crannies I'm going to show you for storage on this guy. Storage up above. As you can see right up there, there's our Starlink. Got plugs in there where everything's plugged into. You know, AM, FM radio, CD player, DVD player, the whole works. Then as you get up into the actual gooseneck area, the bedding area, first and foremost up at the front there, you're going to notice this is a setup we like. We really like a set of cabinets, but we like shelves. We like outlets up there for you. Look, I go to bed with water. You got to figure out where to put it. You know, I've heard customers say, well, I have to set my water, you know, by the side of the bed. And then I set my phone on top of the valance, you know, above the windows when it charges. Well, now we've got some shelves. You know, it's just a really good setup. So that's kind of the version we like. Then you're also going to have another smart TV up in this bedding area, up in the gooseneck. And do not forget, this trailer is 8'1" tall, so it is definitely a much taller trailer. You see a lot of 7.5s out there, but again, this one's 8'1", gives you plenty of headroom up there in that gooseneck area as far as that's concerned. Now, as we come down, we have steps. So this is dual entry going up into the nose. But, I mean, again, they come up with just little areas to be able to throw some items. Underneath the bottom step here is actually going to be our battery disconnect, and then also our fuse panel. So that's where that's going to be located on this trailer. But battery disconnect, fuse panel breakers, so you know exactly where to go if you need to get into that type of a scenario. Track lighting on the steps, that's a nice little upgrade. Boy, it looks nice. It's nice at night when you're, you know, transitioning in and out of the gooseneck area. Go to the other side. Another little cabinet. And then one even on the shelf, or the bottom step there. So again, little areas where we can come up with, you know, good places to store items. We understand you're going to be traveling for long amounts of time. You need to carry a lot of stuff with you. Outlaw does a good job on coming up with those. This is another piece. Over here in the dinette, we have pull-out drawers. Rather than the actual cabinets, because at least with the drawers, you can pull it out and get to stuff. With it being a cabinet, if you have got to reach way back in there, under that dinette to get some stuff. This is a great place for maybe some food, some pots and pans, those type of things, or also bedding. You know, this guy here will break down this dinette into a bed. So if you want to keep some of that bedding right there, you can. But this is a great 4-person dinette in the slide out. So maybe a good workstation for you. Again, if you work from home, you know, as you're on the road. Again, you got that Starlink to take advantage of. This is a great, you know, workstation here. But you have this area that you can sit down, have a meal. You don't necessarily have to break it down like a table if it was, you know, just necessarily a sofa type setup. But in this size of a layout, you're going to end up getting these dual seating sleeping areas. So across from it, you're actually going to get the sofa sleeper. I showed you where that freshwater fill was. Our holding tank is underneath there. It's a 60-gallon freshwater tank there. But we went with this Weston style sofa, you know, the accent material with the brown, this wood stain. I thought, you know, everything just tied together really, really well. We're really happy with it. All this storage up above. So again, a lot of storage. And when you really get in this and you really get into this living part of it, I mean, yes, you're going to notice the headroom up in the nose, but you get into this area and it feels nice and big and open. We have dual ACs on this guy. Since it is a 17.5 footer, this guy here is 50 amp service with dual ACs, the 15 BTUs on this guy here. And then we've got a 25 K furnace on this guy. Everything's ducted, so we can really keep a nice, consistent, you know, temperature throughout this entire trailer itself. You know, by having the fireplace as another heat source, it really helps out there as well. Nice big 8.0 refrig and freezer on this guy. You know, you've got some storage up above it. Again, they come up with little nooks and crannies. This is really nice, you know, with a little bit bigger capacity, just so you can actually, you know, carry a lot more, you know, food and freezer items with you. Then when we flip to the other side of the kitchen area, because of the size of this slide out, a couple things I want to point out. On this guy here, our cooktop is in the slide out. So what I'll do is when we get to the outside of the trailer, there is a propane source for this guy specifically in the slide. So there's a compartment on the outside that we can access to that tank. But 2-burner cooktop, recessed cover. So when you're not using that, look at all this counter space you have. You can really tuck items back there. There's a roll-up door on this guy here for storage for some items if you need to. Convection oven on this one. Storage cabinet to the left of that. Then over here, we've got some pull-out drawers. You got 3 of those guys. And then also storage underneath this as well. On your sink, you've got a cover on that. So again, you've got a lot of counter space with these covers as well, but we try to get, you know, nice big deep sinks for you. That's one thing a lot of customers say. We really try to maximize that if possible. And then I want you to notice this is tile backsplash as well. So from the counter up to that cabinet is going to be actually tile there. And then, I almost missed it. There's more storage between the slide out and then going into the bathroom. So you have this here. This is a great, maybe like almost like pantry for you. These are adjustable shelves in here, so we can move these guys up and down. So again, just plenty of food storage on this guy or other items as well. And then as we go into the bathroom area, pocket door, so we don't have to worry about working around a door at all that swings. And then as you get into the bathroom area here, over here at the bathroom vanity, nice big mirror, ton of storage in this medicine cabinet here. A lot of counter space, good big sink. Again, that's where we see a lot of times they'll want to put like a real small sink, or other manufacturers will do that. We tried to put the same size sink that's out there in the kitchen area. It's just nice to have those, but again, plenty of counter space. Tile as well behind that. Storage underneath, some shelving over to the left. Right there is going to be your hot water heater, so you don't have as much right there, but you can store some items underneath. There's some shelves, and then our drain valves are actually accessed down there on that bottom. They've got it labeled with that lid that can pull out. Porcelain toilet. We went ahead with the wood cover, the puffed accent material on top. Really ties, you know, everything together as far as the trailer is concerned there. In this back corner is going to be a 2-rod closet. As you can see, we've got a extra cushion in here. That's for the dinette to break down. There is a table base, a leg, and then a table top as well for your sofa. If you just feel like you're only going to use the dinette, just find somewhere safe at home to store that guy if need be. But if you want that second table in here, you've got that as well. We went ahead and just put a couple drawers down here. I don't know, you're always trying to figure out where the heck, what do I do with my socks? So we put some drawers down here, those type of items, you know, utilizing that space. And then you've got your radius shower with a vent above it. So you get kind of that natural lighting, the vent above it. But then again, you know, you get a lot of headroom with this being 8'1" tall in this guy compared to a lot of other trailers. But that radius, you know, shower allows you a little bit more, you know, kind of elbow room. But again, a lot more head area in this one here, just because of the sheer height of the trailer itself. So again, as you can see, I mean, beautiful work once again by Outlaw Conversions. You know, they do such a great job, and again, they stand behind the product. You know, there are times you might need something. They've got a 24/7, 365 call center you can call into. The gals there will help you out, walk you through some stuff if need be, find some service centers for you if on the road. It's just nice to have that peace of mind. But then again, the warranty as well that stands behind it. Before we head out, a couple things over here to the left. I mean, you can see all the light switches. Everything's labeled really well, so you know where everything goes. Sliding screen doors, so you do have a screen door here. And then over, before we head out, a couple things. We've got an electric water heater switch here. That guy, you have to be plugged in. You turn that on when the water pumps on, you're plugged into power, and then you turn it off. Don't leave that guy on. You'll burn that element up if you just leave it on. You do have the hot water heater with LP as well, but on this guy here, you've got the electric option as well, awning in and out. And then for our hydraulic slide, in and out, and you can turn the key on or off there. Onboard generator on this guy, we'll talk more about that, but there's a switch right here by the door. There's also one up in the bed area. So if you're, you know, wake up in the morning, don't necessarily want to crawl out of bed, want to fire up the gen, you can do that from up there, or there's the switch right here before we go out. Last piece, couple hat racks right above us. Good storage, it's up out of the way. Utilize some just empty space that wouldn't necessarily have any use, but get creative and get those type of things out of the way. These are frameless windows. Cimarron went to that a couple years ago. It just really gives it a sleek look to the trailer itself by having those guys. And then I want you to notice the extrusion is carried all the way up to the gooseneck. So that is definitely a nice feature there. It gives a lot of strength to this big trailer, but also just aesthetically, I think is really appealing and pleasing by having that all the way. Now, we'll just look up top there. When you're looking at the integrated pod, I want to point out one thing is there's a new slope to these Cimarrons. Cimarron changed that here pretty recently too. It used to be a more abrupt, you know, slope to it. This, I think, again, aesthetically pleasing by putting a little bit more slope to it. As you can see, we did 3 exterior 16-inch awning lights back there in that horse area, one above the load space door, and then one above the third horse and one above the first horse. So tons of light on the outside of this trailer. When you really combine the living quarters, you know, exterior lights, the courtesy lights, you don't forget you've got the strip lighting on the awning itself. And then from there, we have drop windows on the hip wall of this trailer here. You have bus windows within them, but we wanted to maximize airflow. If you live down in hot, humid states, you know, those are the calls we get and say, hey, I live down south. I need a lot of airflow. I have to have, you know, drop windows on the hip wall. A lot of our LQs have gone that way. That's how we order them. We don't want to potentially miss out on those customers. You know, not as necessary up here in Colorado. We don't get the humidity, but believe me, a lot of customers prefer to have these drops again with airflow. Axles, let's talk about these guys. We got a lot going on here. Triple axle air ride, I mentioned that. These are 3 8,000-pound axles. Again, we have electric over hydraulic disc brakes. These are Alcoa wheels, 17.5s, Continental 18-ply tires. You have unbelievable running gear underneath this guy. But more importantly, you have that air ride. This guy will turn, or will travel like a triple. So really smooth ride. And then you throw air ride on top of it. Your horses are going to have such an incredible ride on this guy here. We have customers you can talk to. The most common thing we hear is, I'll never own another trailer without air ride. We've got video that we can show you the difference between air ride and non-air ride with horses on board and just how they act. This is a big investment. It's going to protect the product itself by giving it a better ride. It's smoother for you in the truck. More importantly, it's better on the horses. So, you know, horses, we're putting a lot of expense and time into them. We want them to go compete at the highest level. Put them on air ride. It is well worth it. You know, we probably can never put a true dollar amount to what, you know, potential savings we have from vet bill standpoint, but there has to be something there. I mean, these roads are rough. It's really jarring, you know, a lot of shock to their joints. I know it's much better for the horses themselves. So this guy here, this air ride system is by Dexter. It's their Airflex system. So you have rubber torsion axles with the shock kit, and then your bags, your lines, your compressor. So in this instance, this trailer is aired down. If I air it up, it picks it up about 2.5 inches. So when we're loading, unloading horses, loading stuff in living quarters, just in general, staying out of it, air it down. It's a smaller step going to living quarters. The ramp's not as steep for our horses. But in the instance something goes wrong with the compressor, a line, a bag, the old air ride systems, you couldn't move the trailers. And in this one here, it sets down just like it is, and you can still go to where you need to. Now we say, when you're pulling it and air ride's, you know, working how it should, turn it on, air it up, and go, whether you have horses on it or not. It does make such a massive difference in the overall ride. Now, the way that these guys, the knock-on triple is the way they turn. So again, I mentioned we just got this trailer in, so we haven't done this piece to it. But this is something that's exclusive to Transwest. We'll go in and we'll put an air dump on this front axle. So what we can do is, it doesn't physically pick the axle up, but it takes the weight and shifts it to our back 2 axles, shifts our pivot point, but it takes the weight off this guy. You can turn this trailer around like a tandem axle. So we're not putting as much stress, you know, on axles, on sidewalls, on everything. When you go to turn these, when you turn a triple and you watch it in the mirror, everything's fighting it. Everything's going different directions. So this front axle will just skate. You push the button, you can do it literally from the seat of your truck. We'll put an indicator light so you know when it's on or off. But then what you can do is you can hit a button, dumps the air to those 2. Again, turn it around how you need to, back it in how you need to, hit the button, it'll shift air back to it, and you go down the road. So we've done some videos on that. We've done some other trailers we can show you. This will get equipped with that at some point here once it gets through the shop. Again, it just showed up. We were just really excited to show it to you on this rainy day of all days, right? Okay, amber turn signal. We like putting this on our big trailers, 8 wide or living quarters. The reason why is it works as a massive like marker light for you, but it also indicates when you have your turn signals on and when you hit your brakes. So again, 41 foot on the floor, 49 nose to tail. You know, let's let people know I'm trying to get over, or, hey, you know, I'd like to get over in that lane. Maybe they're just ahead of your tail lights, really don't see your truck lights. It's a great indicator. It's a really small piece that we like putting on our inventory, whether it's these living quarters or even just some bigger trailers, trainer trailers, those type of setups here. Okay, let's go into this side load here. One thing I want you to notice is the back wall is 2.5 foot short wall in that rear tack. So we put an extra 6 inches in there. We just like the sheer size of that. So we extend that ramp a little bit, you know, we make it a little bit longer. So it really accommodates those horses going on and off this side ramp. You have your door going in, but again, air your trailer down. So again, it's not as steep. And then I want you to notice one thing before we get in here is this divider. If we look at this entry point, the wheel well, and this guy, that's pretty tight, right? Well, this is a breakover divider that Ciamrron has. All we have to do is break that guy in half. And now look at all this area we have loading and unloading our horses. I especially like it too when you're backing out. It allows that shoulder to get over a little bit, allows that horse to go down. You know, it's really tight making that turn, going backwards. You know, going forward's a little bit easier, but going backwards, it really helps by getting that guy out of the way. Padded dividers, airflow dividers, airflow head grills. Common theme, a lot of airflow, trying to keep it nice and everybody nice and cool and comfortable in this type of setup. You saw the drop windows on hip wall. This comes into play as well by having all these jail bars in here. I'll show you when we get to the outside, the drop windows head side, but as you can see, we have the jail bars up there as well. So those head grills can drop down and we can offer feed in the mangers, water, whatever we need to. But in this instance here, again, a lot of airflow is a common theme. Now, like I mentioned, on integrated pods, it drops the ceiling height in the stall area. So normally if we build, a lot of our inventory is 7'10" tall. So if we do a 7'10" tall integrated roof, it drops the ceiling height to 7'3". Our standard horse trailer height is 7'1". So it's a little bit bigger, but not anything crazy. So if you've got a little bit bigger horse, this trailer is really gonna accommodate them, because with it being 8'1" tall, that integrated ceiling drops down to 7.5. Well, that's still what we consider an oversized, you know, trailer as far as height goes. So much taller. As you can see, it's panel and insulated on the inside here. On the top side, it doesn't matter. It still has Ciamrron's insulated roof. Just whenever you do the drop, as far as the iPod setup with this ceiling, you're gonna have a panel, you know, on this side of it. Our pod probably stops right about here. So we are able to get one roof vent up here. We've got the garnish ring, but there is one roof vent in this area. So we can get a little bit more airflow there. At least try to get you one in here. That's again because of the 5 horse and where the pod actually drops in that slope into the top rail. Up here in this first stall, you have your stud divider, but we'll show you from the outside too, but that guy is built with the manger on the door. So that guy will swing out with the manger on the door and it's built in for storage. But you have the stud divider up here in stall 1. Maybe you're not necessarily utilizing it with 5 horses all the time, additional storage. You've got that capability there. Kick mats all the way around. You can see the wheel well, it's tapered. You know, the paddle latches are recessed into the actual wall itself. Everything has a radius when you put your hands on it. I mean, you touch these window openings, you touch a divider, everything has a smooth radius. So Ciamrron puts a lot of emphasis on animal safety first and foremost, and then also one-handed operation. So if I'm leading a horse, I can easily open a paddle latch, still have a leader open my hand. There's springs on these dividers pulling them aside. This guy here wants to hang off the wall a little bit. That's because it's a stud divider, so it has a little bit more weight to it, but we're also tipped towards passenger side. If you level this guy out, he's gonna wanna pull over here against these other partial dividers. But again, one-handed operation, I can easily walk, slam these guys shut. There's a heavy UHMW plastic paddle latch right here. That's important because we don't have metal to metal contact. Metal to metal creates a lot of rattle, a lot of noise as far as that's concerned. On the floor, as you can see, because it's a side load, we prefer, instead of rubber mats, doing Werm flooring. It is not fun pulling mats out of these trailers. I use the example of wrestling alligators, but it's really difficult when you have that side load. You got to go back and then out the side, and you got to kind of work through that opening there. So in this, we don't have to worry about it. It's Werm flooring, it's permanent, it's unpenetrable. Just muck out the solids and power wash it out. Nose it up a little bit, go in that through that escape door of the power washer, open up your back door there, and out you go. Underneath is the industry's best floor. It's Ciamrron's interlocking 12-inch extruded deck. Locks in high and low, 2 points of contact, but a V-truss in the middle. 4 inches apart are those actual beams and points of contact. So 4-inch centers means wherever you have a horse standing on this floor, they're standing on, if not one, but possibly 2 actual beams themselves. So building a house, you want a strong foundation. There's not a better foundation on the market than a Ciamrron as far as that floor is concerned. I talked about that insulated roof. So that insulated roof is up there. Again, that's standard on all Ciamrrons. Versus aluminum sheeted trailer, it keeps the stall area 20% cooler. Once again, airflow dividers, big drops, you know, trying to keep horses as cool and comfortable as possible. You have that. The other important thing is its strength. It'll take substantial hail, you know, by having that insulated roof. It's a 1/2 inch thick. It's a honeycomb design. It'll take 150 pounds per square foot. Last couple things, you've got some LED lights in here. One above horse 1, 3, and 5, but these are these big Optibrights. They put out a ton of light. This guy here lights up, especially with this white sheeting on the roof. I mean, it just really reflects off and really brightens up this whole area as far as the stall area is concerned. This back stall is 48 inches wide, so it's a little bit wider than standard, and that's just to accommodate these rear side loads when we're loading horses, and again, making this transition into the rest of the trailer from the back here. You do have a butt strap that goes over the door itself, and then in the actual rear door is going to be a drop down window as well, so you have a window there if you need to. So you've got the drops all the way around. You can shut your rear ramp with this guy down. You'll have to just get it down, lock it in to the behind it, and then you can secure your ramp over it. Now on this rear ramp, I'm going to go ahead and shut it because a couple things. Nice big springs, so when you get in there, it wants to suck towards the trailer. Again, this guy's tipped towards passenger side, but we ran that extrusion on there as well. Again, just from the aesthetics, it matches up, especially here. I'll show you when we shut these guys up. You can see that extrusion on that ramp matches the extrusion on the side of the trailer itself. And then on these guys, you do have the bus windows within those drops. So if you wanted to shut up the trailer a little bit more but still get a little bit more airflow, you can really manipulate the airflow in this trailer by having that flexibility there. You can see on the back door as we start walking around, it's got the extrusion we wrapped around on it as well. It matches. But then as we get to the back, here you go, full width rear tack. Again, we did a 2.5 foot short wall where a lot of times they'll do a 2 foot. But on this instance here, we did dual doors. As you can see, the left-hand door is actually gonna have a 6-tier blanket pole rack on a gas shock. Water included today with our rain. Carpet behind it, brush tray, so kind of a catch-all for some smaller items. Your hoof picks, brushes, ointments, fly sprays, whatever you need to, you can throw that. On the other side, same thing, brush tray on that door, but we did a set of hooks there. Those are aluminum powder coated, so they're really stout. And carpet again behind that one. We did windows on those, so if you want to get a little airflow in this back, you know, tack when we're throwing in sweaty blankets, pads, throwing your saddles in there, you've got that. 2 fold-up steps, so you can really get into this tack room very easily. And then 2 swing-out saddle racks, 1 on each side. We did 3 and 3. You know, sometimes you carry a few more. If you wanted to add more, you could. If you want to take some away, you can. If you want to adjust these, you just loosen the nut, slide them where you want, tighten them up. But then you can actually access from ground level, or again, if you want to have them in, you can. You can swing them in and walk into the tack room and take stuff out of here. Fully carpeted, so all the walls are carpeted. More bridle hooks, 2 sets right here, high and low. Again, the carpet behind it to protect everything. Nothing, you see it all the time. We see it on trades a lot with aluminum sheets. You get that quarter moon built in there because stuff is moving. Well, one, it's not gonna move as much because this trailer is air ride, but let's protect everything. It creates noise for the horses on the other side. This carpet's fantastic from that standpoint there. Over in the front corner, this is gonna be our fuel tank for our onboard generator. And then we got you a shelf up top here. Just again, give you some flexibility, throw some items up there. 18 inches deep, 2-inch lip. It's got rubber up there, but again, great place to throw some items there. And then we recessed a couple of those OptiBrite lights in the rear tack here. So you have those directly above you. Those are those big OptiBrites. Again, plenty of light there. This floor, normally it could be carpet. I don't like carpet just because it can stain, it holds odor. Rubber mat's an option, but this is a gray rubber flooring that we've been doing on a lot of trailers. It's sealed at the side, it's glued down, so it is not gonna allow stuff to get underneath it. But this stuff holds up in extremely high traffic areas. Pay attention when you're walking through like the airport, sporting event, I mean, just about anywhere, you really notice it. I notice on a lot of stairs now. I didn't notice it till we started incorporating it. And you go, man, they do use that stuff everywhere. But again, it's really easy to clean. You can just kind of sweep stuff out, you know, vacuum stuff out. So this guy's got a 2-point internal lock. So all I have to do is just pull this lever here and it opens it up. But again, I can just slam it, locks into place. That left-hand door does have to shut first. A lot of Cimarrons are independent doors, but in this type of a setup, we want it to be nice and secure. So it's got the door that goes over the right-hand side as well. And there's that extrusion. So again, it wraps around the back, giving it that good look. You've got light switches on each side. These here are gonna be load space and right-hand or passenger side load lights. And then over here to the left is gonna be driver side load lights, pedestal lights, load lights at the back here, and then tack lights. So they're all on individual switches. As you can see in the tail lights, there's a white X. That white X is a backup light. So when you throw your tow vehicle in reverse, about, what do we say, 49 nose to tail? Not quite 49 because we have the truck underneath the trailer itself, but our backup lights are worthless on our truck. So now you have these guys. If you want to add to it, come back here and turn on your pedestal lights at the rear. You got a ton of light here at the back. Okay, if we're looking up at the pod area, first look over to the right-hand side. You're gonna notice the onboard generator. There's the box for that. That is a 7K Onan gas generator because this is 50 amp service, dual ACs. You have your security gate that does swing out, so it just kind of protects that a little bit more. And then you have this easy angle ladder. So instead of a bolt-on ladder, where you have to go straight up the side of the trailer, this guy here extends down and out. Remember I talked about one-handed operation? Well, this is one-handed operation because now as I go up, I can carry feed bags. Try doing that on a bolt-on ladder. It's almost impossible. But I'll just show you that deck area. I'm not gonna get up there right now. It's a little bit slick today. And honestly, I don't wanna fall. So, you do have the TreadBrite flooring, so it does have some grip up here. But as you can see, looking at the pod itself, it's got that V built into it. So it's really easy going in and out, you know, transitioning from the pod itself to this deck area. Now, one other thing is the material on top of the pod itself is that roof material, that insulated roof material. They made that change about a year ago. Instead of insulated, or aluminum sheeted, they went with the insulated roof because, hey, the aluminum can still ding and hail, but that insulated roof is so much stouter, they went ahead and did it there. But as you can see at the deck here, you have a ton of storage space. There's a light underneath here as well, so we can go ahead and turn that guy on so you have some light up here in this area. If you're working on anything, loading hay, unloading hay, it's nice to have that. Couple grab handles for you. So again, it's really getting easy up and down. I'm holding the camera, and again, you know, one-handed operation by going up and down the actual ladder itself. Really easy to secure as well. Sets into some feet, goes into this latch here. We can lock this guy up. One thing, this guy has so many latches and locks on it. Drop windows, feed doors, LQ, tack. I'll show you the mangers, everything. Everything's one key, so it's really easy to lock everything up. And then again, fold up steps on gas shocks, get those guys out of the way. Now, because of the length behind the axles on this guy, because we added a little bit more length to this trailer for that rear tack, you can see it probably down low, but we put a 12-inch skid plate down there and then bogey wheels. So if you go through a big dip, instead of the back end of this trailer dragging, it's going to catch those bogey wheels, and they're going to help that trailer roll right off, not doing damage back there, you know, behind the axles here at the back of the trailer. So we really like to take a look at that, and we're doing that a lot of these rear loads just because of the sheer length we have behind the actual axles themselves. Here's our fuel fill. So fill for that gas gen right there. And I don't know if you caught it or not, but that generator's been running the whole video, so we could barely, I couldn't hear it in the living quarters. Obviously when I came to the back, you can kind of hear it humming, but that guy's been running throughout the whole video. Okay, there are multiple load lights on this driver's side as well. 3 of those 16s, just like we saw on the other side. One above horse 1, kind of splitting 3 and 4, and then one back behind because of the slant. But again, tons of light on this guy. And then as you can see in the pod up top there, this is considered their 11.5 footer. So we have a little bit of extension ahead of the actual lid itself. So we have some storage underneath there. You know, you're looking at, depending on how you stack them, size of the bales, you know, you can get somewhere between 12, 15 bales of hay up there pretty easily. Then from there, here's our drop downs on the head side. So these access, you know, feed doors here. You see the jail bars, you see the massive amount of framework around these windows. These guys are so heavy duty and stout and built so well. These are things you're gonna open and close about every time you utilize this trailer. Let's make them heavy duty. The drop down jail bar itself is just in a track. All you have to do is lift it up and find the sweet spot, and down it comes. So again, if we wanna add, you know, offer some feed, some water, we can. Let them poke their heads out if you want. You've got that capability. I'm not as big a fan of that when you're driving. That's just a pet peeve. Kind of like the carpet. Not a big fan of it. But you do have bus windows in these guys as well. Again, if you want to manipulate airflow, you have the flexibility by having the drops, but then also bus windows within them. On the escape door, you're going to get a little bit smaller one. That's just because of the framework that we need for the actual access door. And like I showed you the manger on the inside here. I'll open it up. There it is. There's storage down there as well. So we've got storage in that guy. And then there's a drain tube in there, just like at the back one. So if you wanted to actually clean those guys out, you can. And then you can open it up. And then there's a good look at it. Fold up step going into that access area as well. Just because, you know, with the trailer being 8 foot wide, any running board. So it's just, again, nice to be able to step in there. Then we did extrusion on the manger doors to match. Big manger up front door. And then you've got multiple access points. You're gonna notice gray rubber behind there. We were doing carpet behind there. Well, guess what? It can get dirty and stinky and. So we did gray rubber there, and then we did hooks at each manger stall as well. And then there are LED lights in here. These are on individual switches. You will have to turn them on directly on the light themselves. All these doors, drop downs, manger doors, rear tack doors, access doors, all have welded hinges with grease zerks. So they're much easier for you to maintain and actually go ahead. You get a hinge that gets a little bit stiff on you, starts making a lot of noise, kind of like a cat with its tail stuck in the door. You can put some grease to it and it'll feed throughout the whole hinge itself. If you look on like these guys, you see this like brass ring in here. Well, there's a brass rod that runs the length of this. It just ties in right there. Well, it's got a groove cut into it, so it's swirled all the way around like imagine a candy cane swirl. So it has that, so when we put grease to it and open and close this, it actually wants to feed grease throughout it. We were fighting a used trailer the other day that had a squeaky hinge. We had to heat it up. I've seen them where they drill holes in here trying to feed, you know, lubricant to let gravity take it. I mean, it took us forever to kind of even get it halfway working correctly, just because of, you know, it's a welded hinge, but it didn't have that grease zerk capability. There's also a drip rail above these doors, the drop down feed doors, access door. That is an extrusion that Ciamrron builds specifically for their door openings. So it's not like, hey, here's some strap aluminum, go ahead and tack that up, try to keep moisture away from those openings. No, that's an extrusion specifically for that. Try to keep moisture away from those openings. You know, in Colorado, we have 300 days of sunshine. So we'll get snow, sun will come out, it'll melt, it'll come off the side of the trailer, and guess what? At night, it'll freeze. So that moisture tries to get in those openings and then it freezes those doors up and they're really hard to open. So that drip rail, again, tries to prevent that moisture from getting into those openings themselves. City water fill right here. You have an outside spigot, and then we have our gray and black tank dumps right there. And then I showed you on the inside, but on the back side of this slide out, here is that LP compartment. So this bottle specifically goes to the cooktop because it's in the slide out. So I mentioned we had 30-pound bottles underneath. I talked about 20s, but this one here you're only going to use for the cooktop. So anytime you're using it, it'll be coming off of this bottle. So you probably wouldn't have to change this one near as much. And now if you think about it, you have 20 pounds of LP here, and then we have 60 pounds of LP, you know, capacity on those bottles, between those two bottles up front. So a lot more than what's standard. But again, that's built in to have that door right here on the slide. Extrusion on the slide out. There's a frameless window. Now on the sides of the actual slide out, you're not gonna have frameless because the frameless does stick off the side a little bit. So that's more of your traditional framed window there, but that's just to access when it's rolling in and out. And then you have your awning topper up there as well. It actually has that aluminum cover as well on that awning, just like the other one you saw. So I love that because it protects it from, you know, UV rays. And then right up here's our plug for our 50 amp service. You saw the cord in the back there. That's where you'll actually go ahead and plug in. I hope I didn't miss anything. I mean, this guy has so many, you know, nice options on it between the Ciamrron side, the Outlaw side. But I'll give you the stock number for reference on it. Again, it's a 2025 Ciamrron Norstar 5-horse living quarters, triple axle air ride, full width rear tack, integrated pod, 17.5 foot Outlaw. Again, I'm not going to go over all of it. 5N 241 544. We do take trade-ins, so if you're looking to upgrade or downsize, you could downsize into this. Maybe you got a motorhome or a bus or something like that, you want to go a different direction. We can help you out with those type of trade-ins. If you're wanting to tag this up with a new hauler or a used hauler, we've got those options as well. So we do take trades. Financing is available and delivery is an option, so we could potentially bring this to your doorstep. So give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out. That number is 303-684-3400. Appreciate you tuning in. Have a good day.